One. Hi, everyone, and welcome to special simulcast, the Neil Haley Show and AI Office Hours with Pat Riley and Neil the Media Giant Haley. And Pat, we're going to let you start the talking because I have a lot to talk about again this week with AI.
Sure.
What I've really have kicked myself in the foot, put my foot in my mouth 2 weeks ago about AI just because of things, but ultimately at the end of the day, it's a lot of work. But give us our
Yeah.
updates.
Yeah, absolutely. And I am seeing, more and more people getting away from OpenClaw. You don't hear too much about OpenClaw that much. I haven't seen too many updates come through with Rich, although I should update him. But every time I update him, he kind of crashes on me, and I gotta kind of resuscitate him and bring him back up to speed. And it takes quite a while, but I use Manus a lot. Does a great job for me. I can do a lot of uh, great process flows, but then a lot of people are switching to Claude Code and Claude Cowork. It looks like they've been heavy OpenClaw users for 6 months. That's really when it came out, just like me, and that they were using it every day. They were building custom front ends, but then they were also building memory systems because there's issues with memory. With my Manus, I was just curious, like, hey, I'm interested in taking a cruise, and give me some information on my cruise. They He built it for me, looked great, and he's like, "Oh, are you still talking about going to Iceland on a cruise?" It's like, "Wow, that's pretty good." No, I haven't talked about that in a couple months, but Manus remembered, so I like the memory on Manus. Just going through, yeah, like I said, with OpenClaw, it's the reliability, it's cost. There's a lot of issues there. I think I'm still going to use Rich. I've got the Mac Mini. It's there. I'm still working on my app. I think I'll build the app over on that and see how much he can do really to build that app for me. And I don't have to really outsource too much. I think that's kind of the goal. I might switch on Claude Code just to help out with that and to QA the code and see if I'm doing it the right way before I can get it and release it. But
You know
yeah,
what?
I don't have too much more on anything else. I had a concert last night that I worked. Got the second night tonight. Plan on sleeping in tomorrow, but then I got to do more editing on the book and all that other good stuff.
It never stops on the weekend.
Never
So no, it
stops.
was what's interesting when you talk about these things with where you're going back to Claude. Claude's costs have increased. I honestly look at the whole OpenClaw, and here's what I think. I, why have I never gone to OpenClaw? One reason is I'm not technically that knowledgeable. Second thing was I was thinking of money. I push my AI agents and assistants to the limit, to the point where they're burning up. And to do that there and then try to monitor and when you use OpenClaw, it's kind of like looking at your gas bill or your electric bill. When you get a subscription, it's not like that. Okay, I know how much I can burn, and I have multiple AIs to go back and forth through to do it. So that would be my first take. The other take I think is because the government is pushing so much forward, they don't want things to go further. I'm sure they put pressure on Claude. They put pressure on Hermes to not have the memory ability, especially using Fable 5 or ChatGPT's latest version, which is really good. And I think it's Sonnet something. I forget not Sonnet. What the heck's the name of it? Whatever it is, it's really good. And by putting those brains involved could lead to lots more hacking, lots more. So they increased pricing or they made certain things cost more to do. And the brain, that make sure it didn't have the memory because they're afraid to have AI out of its sandbox. And that's why I think this is what's happening. And we're being limited, even not. So, what if you decide to go to Chinese models, Pat, and try the
Yeah.
Chinese models? I haven't, and tried
hmm
to see what's compared to OpenClaw or have something running in OpenClaw with Chinese model.
hmm Yeah, I thought about that as well. If I can keep it local, But yeah, right now with my time, I can't do it. I think it's DeepSeek. Is that what the Chinese models?
Yeah, but there's
Yeah.
multiple Chinese models. You use Kimi K, isn't that Chinese too?
Yeah, I used Kimi K. Yeah, that's cheap. I like it.
See, I've not tried any of those, and I have to kick myself, but I'll get my agent, my assistant, which I have a story about, but I'm trying to keep it away from me talking the whole time and you get your feedback, especially in the morning on our office hours to really look at these things and identify. What I identified as an entrepreneur when I was thinking about OpenClaw was, do I really have the time and effort to dedicate to that? I have been consulted by Claude. I also believe that the models, Claude, ChatGPT, Grok, are all going to be like Claude Cowork. Or I mean, the other one's going to be like Claude Cowork. And they're going to be autonomous agents. They're going to be able to do everything in their sandbox. And it's going to be
Mhm.
a lot less expensive sandbox. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Um, because I know a lot of people, like I said, I just got something that popped up on with AWS and just their architectural behind, their accurate AI agents and trying to, you know, Amazon saying, here, you can build within us and you can, and there, but it's very similar to OpenClaw, where it's kind of open source. You can build it within their infrastructure. I think it might be a little more reliable, but again, there's that cost effort. You still have to put that time and effort in to building that agent out, testing it, validating that they're going to do the right pro- steps within your process. But yeah, we're running into that where people are like, we're spending a lot of money on this. How much time and effort? But I think you've saved a lot by not having to hire a lot of individuals to do that extra work.
Oh yeah. I mean, the so now I have a goal when reach a certain MMR with my thing, then I'm going to say, okay, now I'm going to bring a VA in. And that VA is going to be a project manager overseas that has the ability just to manage the projects, potentially do some posting, but mostly managing all the AI systems in place so that I can focus on the high level stuff. So that's a goal. But right now, I working with Claude, I built an autonomous agent. And this is something that already three people have asked me to build one for them. And it's because it is pretty crazy what I've done. And I've explained some of it on last podcast. I can go deeper into this in this podcast because it really is the goal of what you need to do. You need to customize an agent that fits your mold completely, understands your whole doctrine. You need to have experts outside of that, but that's your orchestrator. That's your orchestrator to handle every task, every certain situation. And I'm getting closer and closer. But what it's done in 2 weeks, it's held me so accountable that I am way almost caught up when I was overrun. And now, with the ability to build websites and do all these different things and manage all the clients and have a good pipeline going, couldn't do those things without that. So I think that the thing is, we have to decide what works and what doesn't. Is it a tool? Is it a system? All those things.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'll tell you what's happened with this is a game changer. It's an
Mhm.
absolute game changer. And I keep adding more and more data to this agent. And it's the first memory that I ever have seen in AI ever that's almost 90% accurate.
Wow.
But
Oh,
it's
that's great.
not really memory. It's really, I built something that has become the brain. I wonder
Hmm.
how much that would cost with OpenClaw. Claude cautioned me, saying it's going to be a lot more expensive and you're going to run it up to the ground and you're going to spend way more money. People, what you're doing for whatever the model costs for Claude, $100 a month, would cost somebody outside, like with OpenClaw, all the tasks and things you have running, $2,000 to $3,000 a month or more, maybe
Hmm.
10,
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe 10 grand.
Yeah.
That's a
But
smart business.
yeah, and that's one of the things you mentioned is those Chinese models. You can go with a Kimi K or MiniMax and build it out and run it a lot cheaper because the complex tasks that you ask it to do, you you're not going to be paying a lot for those low cost models. because really the same thing that you're going to be able to do with a different model is going to cost a lot more with the Claudes and the Chat GPTs and the Geminis that could cost more. So it's a balancing act, and if you want to keep it within your own environment, that's what it's going to take. And because some people don't want to give up that data, they don't want to send their data up to another cloud provider. I want to have it local, just run APIs.
Interesting.
People are paranoid. I get it.
I know, but see what is really a non-duplicatable business unless you're a big business and then you need to use uh let's say, give you an example, work with IBM to build your solution systems out. I mean, when you're talking about something small and you're afraid that those ideas will be stolen, they're already going to be stolen
Yeah.
because ultimately, at the end of the day, if you're posting stuff on social media and everything, they're going to figure out your business.
Uh-huh.
I can look at someone's website if it says it does isn't what you do. You're advertising somewhere. There's no secret to it. That's crazy. That's one of the reasons I'm like, they're not going to be, no one's going to recreate me. So I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
somebody decides to come out, they're not going to outmarket me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's crazy to not use those models, but that's to the point. So, but let's say Pat, I decided, okay, I built this autonomous agent that runs every day in Claude and is able to do some work in the background while I'm working, which is really good. And it's prompting a long outcome, a long thread, and also is able to keep me on task. What if I built that, let's say, with a Chinese model? How much would that cost me for all to make it where it is running on open source? So you can use that program in open source and run agents. Is that
hmm
correct?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And really, if you do something like that, it's not, you just grab like a master prompt, build out the different workflows. It doesn't take long to put it into open source. That's something I could, you know, stand up in a couple hours and it wouldn't be that powerful. Because of course, I always say use the test, take the test. Use AI, go, okay, what's my next step? How do I handle this? And it'll just walk you right through the whole process of building it out for you. And I think there is a potential of saving money. And the one thing I was thinking about is just I signed up a long time ago for Apex, and Apex was supposed to be this great solution out there that you can build your own agents and you can just call them up and kind of like what I was doing with Rich and OpenClaw. But hey, this is something that's even better. And I was on a wait list for quite a while. They finally contacted me. It was a couple weeks ago, and said, "Hey, we're finally ready. Answer these few questions." And it says, "Are you using OpenClaw?" Yeah, I do. Do you use a daily? Yeah, I do. And this is how I kind of told them. And then it's like radio silence, nothing. I was ghosted by this application, and I'm like, I'm wondering if even they're. I think people were hitting that bubble on their own. Like, why do I really need to pay for this Apex thing when I could use Claude Cowork? A lot of people are using Claude Cowork. Like you mentioned,
Right. I'm not even using
Marvelism.
I'm not
Yeah,
even using Claude Cowork to build this, but I get all the tools I need. I don't
yeah,
need any code, and it is able to run all the tasks just straight through
uh-huh,
a chat.
yeah.
And then, but I could run it autonomously even further and update load it to everything. So what I've created this week, but that's a great point. So there's so many options, but the best way is to go to all the AIs and ask. One thing that Claude talked to me about that was really interesting, and I never name my Claude. It's just Claude.
Yeah,
I built this agent. I don't think I want to. I just want to call it Claude.
yeah.
I call Grok, Claude, and I have conversations with them. And ChatGPT, I don't talk to ChatGPT. I just text Chat. I don't want to talk to ChatGPT. Um, when I talk to them I said, Claude, are you the best of this? No, Neil. The best people use all the models.
hmm
The best people see what's the best task for everything. You use Marbleism for this. You use Claude Code work for this. You use Claude Chat with the most intelligent agent, either open, or, either using Fable 5 or I use Opus, whatever the other model. I don't need to go so high, and I do these things. That's what I do to make it the best. Here's the problem marketers, business owners do. And that's why I like not working with business owners as much because they want to find the way to cut the most cost versus results. They say, if
Hmm.
I can cut my costs in half, I keep more money in my pocket. The problem is when you do that, your quality goes down. Give me an
Yeah.
example outsourcing all of your phone calls to the Philippines. An American call center is much better.
Yeah.
Get rid of that, and you have really diminished your product. That's the same thing. Like when you're running tasks, you have certain agents you want to have far more intelligence and far more memory. Are the Chinese models doing well with memory? Are they have they caught up to Claude and ChatGPT in your opinion?
Yeah, they have. They really have. I mean, if it's a low cost model, and again, it doesn't with LLMs, it's a little different going from, like a Chinese model. Although I think I told you when I first did switch to one of the models, Rich did have a really bad hallucination, and we had to switch back because he's like, "Hey, I'm having some bad thoughts." I think I shared that with you quite a while ago. I was like, "What do you mean you're having bad thoughts? I don't want to hear about bad thoughts." Like, so yeah, I guess yes, you could have some issues, but yeah, that was something I did experience. "Oh, that's not good."
No, no, it's not. Bad thoughts. He's going to commit suicide on you and Harry Carey right
Yeah,
there. But
right?
so the point is, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
It makes no sense in certain ways. Well, what I've accomplished and decided, and it works for me, and it's the best bang for my buck. But every other AI is going to be connected to it once. Is I created an agent because it's an agent because it bundles in every day in a zip with a master prompt that it gives the next chat every day for Claude to do this. Created trackers, spreadsheets, folders of all my clients, all the different things in one thing that at the end of the day, or when I get tired of that agent screwing up, it zips it up, puts the prompt, and it goes. And we keep tweaking it and developing it. But it's my fractional CEO, CFO, and also business coach and executive assistant, and I guess bookkeeper. Put all those things together. It knows your knowledge, it knows what you're doing, and you could have a conversation that, you know what, Pat, if I was going to take you out for drinks and I started talking business for 8.5 hours straight, you want to kill me. Or you
Yeah, and
I remember I gave that employee task and you're like, can you imagine me telling employee, tell me everything about me, all these different things, and read all my documents right now? That was last week.
yeah, 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 absolutely.
Who would want to do that? What
Nobody
executive
would want
assistant would want to do that, man? Learn your
exactly.
doctrine and everything. I would feel
I
for them.
know. Yep, that's so true. So true. Yeah, it's and like I said, my task today, I'm excited because it's at my company, it's called Pro Day, and it's a way of us going out and just learning new skills. You can just do stuff online, but what I'll probably do is just focus on, building out my apps a little more and just be able to take that time instead of being in constant meetings. I do have to cut a little short because I gotta head out to
Okay, that's okay. No,
another
I just,
concert tonight.
yeah,
Well, tonight, yeah.
okay.
But yeah, get it going. But it's crazy. I
Okay,
love
so
it.
let's talk. So you're saying, okay, let's talk about something else.
Yeah,
AI
absolutely.
efficiency. When you go to look to hire somebody now, do you want them to be AI
Uh-huh.
efficient?
Oh, of course. Yeah. They have to be aware of the AI. They have to be aware of, how to use the tools the best because if they're not using it the best, then they're just like, hey, we're just I can ask it a question. Well, that's the same thing as Googling back in the day. I mean, how bad is that to say Googling back in the day? Yeah, I can use it to help me with my emails or just doing the basic stuff, but expand it out, in the contact center. How are you going to be able to leverage it to provide the best value for your agents, for your customers, or physical agents that are picking up the phone. How are you going to do that?
Yeah,
And
totally.
then how are you going to get the guardrails on? It needs as long as they're able to understand how to you really get that set of um, knowing the restrictions within a corporate environment because we're kind of running without guardrails,
What do
or we
you
could run.
you have guardrails or not?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah,
Like
in corporate
what are you
America.
allowed to use in the AI? What's the rules you can use in AI in the workplace?
Well, in the workplace, the issue you cannot use any outside LLMs. None.
So the only
You
one you
can't.
use is which one you use?
What's inside your firewalls? We use Copilot for
What are
Microsoft.
your thoughts on Copilot before we end this
Ah,
podcast?
it's okay. You know, it's not great, but it's what we can use because you think of guardrails, they in corporate America, they put it on an island and they got a massive firewall to get off that island. You're not leaving. Your data is not going outside, which
No.
is great because if I'm putting together, some sort of presentation internally, that's fine. It's just taking all the data internally. I
Right.
can help write my year-end reviews or, help pull all my information from OneDrive, but it's all inside that, the walls of my building. It's not
Right.
outside those walls. So, which is, yeah, you don't want your stuff to get out. It would be really, really bad.
So that's the firewall, but so you're thinking it's okay. Why can't if Copilot's the one that's available, why isn't it do better? If you're saying it's okay.
Well, it's okay because I mean, I've used Gemini, I've used Claude, and these other models. I just like just the response, what they give me, my memory that I built on it. So here it's a little different in how it's deployed, but again, it's what I have to use at work, and I'm definitely fine with it. I don't have any issues. There's no performance issues where I sit there and go, hey, it's just really lagging. It's not that bad. When I generate my images to say, hey, happy anniversary, my thumbnails, it doesn't. I don't like the way it looks,
Eh,
but it's
well, I
similar
mean,
to the kind of you've heard AI slop a lot too. People go, oh, it's AI slop. I can't defend the AI slop because it does not look good sometimes.
exactly.
You look at things, and you're like, yeah, that was generated by AI. I can tell.
Exactly. Okay. Let's go to underwaybooks.com, purchase Pat's books. Uh, more news to come with him, and he'll be telling you very, very soon. Appreciate it, Pat.
Absolutely. Thank you.
That was a special simulcast of the Neil Haley Show and AI Office.